Hello, and good morning, and good day. Go to partneroncall.com. When you get there, search for Let's Demystify Pre-LOI Due Diligence. You'll go to a web page, click the link, you can download a free report showing all 38 topics. You're about to listen to some of them. This offer expires soon, so take advantage of it. All right, I'm Ted Leverette. I'm the original business buyer advocate. I'm not a business broker, never have been. And for more than 30 years, I've been helping, over 100,000 entrepreneurs and advisors worldwide. They've bought my books, they've taken my trainings, they've hired me. We handle things like creative finance, deal making. I personally coached about 1,000 clients, and this is important. I've trained 298 independent advisors. They don't work for me. They're not in my company. I trained them to better serve people buying and selling companies. Okay, how about Nancy? Nancy Fallon-Houle, talk to us.
Hello, folks. Thank you, Ted, for the opportunity. I'm a business lawyer, business transactions lawyer. I do corporate securities and M&A, business acquisitions, and I write legal documents in plain English.
I think what I'd like to do on this topic of what's the scope of due diligence before the LOI. Nancy, why don't you chip in here? I'll just make a one sentence as she's getting her mic ready. What's the scope before LOI? Well, I think it's to identify enough of what you need to know to submit a reasonable and flexible letter of intent. So Nancy, talk about that and related kinds of things that anticipate what this agenda is. So folks, sit back and listen.
Great. So of course, I'm going to give you the legal perspective since I'm a lawyer. So I'll do this in two short parts. One is some very basic legal due diligence that if it doesn't pan out, then walk away. And then another are three different types of examples of business due diligence that's tied to legal due diligence. So on the very basic, before you submit an LOI, certainly the seller could provide you with an articles of incorporation or LLC formation, the name of the entity that they're actually selling. And don't laugh, because plenty of times I've seen people who are selling the business, but they have the IP assets held in another entity. And you got to make sure you're buying the one that's got what you want. And then who are the owners of this entity? And are they all on board with selling? The reason this is key is I've seen situations where, for example, a family business where one brother wasn't going to agree to sell the business. We got pretty far down the LOI process and he said no, so the deal was off. Better find that out way in the beginning. And if there's any equity issued to employees or other people, you'd want to know that, because it's possible that anybody who's got an ownership interest, or it's probable that anyone who's got an ownership interest is allowed to approve or deny the transaction. So now on some business due diligence that affects legal. Back to Ted's comment about Elon Musk. It's comical to watch what happened there. If you're buying customer accounts in an asset purchase deal or in a stock purchase deal, poke around in those accounts and make sure that they're sound, that they're real, that they're all existing, and that the seller has company records for all of them. Remember, I don't know if everyone knows this, but Elon Musk learned late in the Twitter acquisition deal that Twitter could not confirm how many of the accounts he was buying were either fake accounts or unverified accounts. He was buying the Twitter accounts. That's the first question he should have asked was, prove to me that these are all real accounts. If you're buying simply intellectual property assets, then make sure they've got the IP protected, and both on a filing side and an agreement side. Trademark is filed if it's got a brand or a brand name that you're buying. Intellectual property agreements, licensing agreements, either to or from the seller, depending on what type of company. Non-disclosure agreements and non-compete agreements that protect the IP from walking out the door after you buy the company, and employment agreements with the key employees that assure that their creations belong to the company. And then I'll talk more about employees in a minute. And then internal culture and processes for protecting trade secrets. If you're buying the talent or the workforce, executives, people, then check into that talent and make sure that you're getting all of them or getting the best of what you need. So obtain from the seller a list of employees by name, location, role, title, compensation. Are there employment agreements in place for the senior and key employees? Are they well compensated? People aren't well compensated, especially in today's market with the Great Resignation and 2 jobs available for every person. Either your seller or you has got to make sure that they're well compensated and they're going to stay. So are there any equity comp plans? If so, get a copy of those. Do the people look like real employees, or are they perhaps just subcontractors that the seller is describing as employees, but they're not legally employees? And on that same topic, check and make sure the employees who are listed, check them on LinkedIn and make sure they're not employed by other people as well as the seller. No joke, there are developers who have 2 full-time jobs out there getting paid full-time. And make sure they all look legit, their experience is relevant, at least online. And then if you have time in your due diligence process, which as we know is short because you've got to submit this LOI quickly to beat out other people who are submitting. If you've identified some weaknesses in the business issues, zero in on due diligence on that. It'll smoke out the issues that'll tell you if you should walk or stay. Thank you.
What I want to talk about is the email that Nancy sent me before this show. What really hit me, and she said it probably better than I've said it. She said, decide what you're really getting with this company, what you're buying, and go start your preliminary due diligence there. Because if it doesn't pass that sniff test, what's the point? And guess what? Those of you who've spent money for lawyers and accountants in due diligence, you waste that money if you don't find out what the big driver is.
Hey, you. That's right, you. Have you been looking to buy an exciting and profitable business? Are you tired of searching, but only finding barriers that impede you from owning a wonderful business? Well, have we got some good news for you. You can find and buy the right business the right way. And you don't have to go it alone. For over 30 years, author and transaction advisor Ted Leverette, the original business buyer advocate, has been helping buyers worldwide achieve win-win done deals. Ted Leverette says, you can't buy it if you can't find it. You see, buying a business is all about search. Because if you can't find it, you can't buy it. It's about being best and first. First on the scene with sellers and being the seller's first choice and top of mind for brokers and sellers. And most importantly, avoiding buyer competition. What about having to compete with other buyers? Well, you have to outbid them, which is a good way to pay more than a business is worth. Searchers do better with a winning business buyer marketing plan. And that's where Ted Leverette comes in. He'll help you prepare a winning plan. And then he'll guide your actions so you can find and then buy the right business the right way. But searching is not enough. The reality is too many people buy the wrong business. Or they buy the right business, but on the wrong terms. That's why, if you want to buy the right business the right way, it makes sense to have Ted Leverette, the original business buyer advocate, on your advisory team. And one of the best ways to know what the savviest searchers and buyers do is to read Ted Leverette's books, How to Prepare Yourself and Find the Right Business to Buy, and How to Buy the Right Business the Right Way. You can get them at his website, partneroncall.com. Don't chance it. Right now, go to partneroncall.com, get the books, and schedule a free and private telephone conversation with Ted Leverette.
You can do better if you contact me and we build or improve your searcher marketing plan. You can learn more about searching by reading my book, How to Prepare Yourself and Find the Right Business to Buy. And my other book helps you achieve worthwhile deals, How to Buy the Right Business the Right Way. You will save time, you will save money, you will achieve better deals if you do what the savviest buyers do. I'm available to help you deploy the tactics and strategies from my books. You can get them on Amazon. So, I'm Ted Leverette, the original business buyer advocate with Partner On Call Network. Thanks for listening.